Todd and Julie Chrisley are in prison, and Todd just dropped an appeal for a defamation lawsuit filed against him. They still have appeals in the works for their other convictions. Their daughter is even pushing for an investigation into the living conditions in the prisons her parents are in. However, the Chrisley family just escaped one court case. Here is a look at the criminal charges dropped for the Chrisley family. Courts dropped criminal charges against Kyle Chrisley. Todd's son, Kyle Chrisley, was facing criminal charges for an alleged assault at his place of work. According to reports, Kyle and his boss, Devin Campbell, got into an argument at work. A fight started, and Devin filed assault charges against Kyle. However, the criminal charges against Kyle were dropped. In March 2023, Tennessee police arrested Kyle for felony aggravated assault. This happened 2 months after Todd and Julie reported to prison to begin their terms. The argument happened at work, and the victim said that Kyle made death threats against him. The reports indicate that Kyle hit Devin multiple times in the face and body. The victim also claims that Kyle held a knife and threatened to kill Devin. The argument was over a $36 difference in Kyle's paycheck. Devin said he hid until the police arrived. Smyrna Court Clerk's office revealed prosecutors dismissed the charges before trial. Alleged Kyle Chrisley victim angry about court decision. The victim of the alleged assault, Devin Campbell, said that he is not happy about the dropped charges. What is interesting is that Campbell said that he feels that Kyle got away with it because his family and fame make him above the law via In Touch. The prosecutors blamed Devin for dropping the charges. The prosecutors sent a subpoena for Devin to testify at the trial, but Devin never showed up. Devin claimed he never got the subpoena, and the two men who helped hold Kyle back were also never served. He asked why he wouldn't show up to testify against the man who attacked him. "I've never been assaulted before. I don't know what happens. I don't know the processes are. I still don't know what's going on," Devin said. Kyle Chrisley had another story. According to Kyle, the charges were dismissed because Devin never showed up. "I do know the court tried multiple times to subpoena him. Fame did not play a role in the court's decision whatsoever," Kyle said. "If my family were considered to be above the law, why are my parents in federal prison?" Kyle said he was the employee, which speaks for itself. He said that Devin shoved him first, and when he began screaming in Kyle's face, his PTSD caused him to fight back. He said that since Devin shoved him first, it is an assault by a supervisor in the workplace. What are your thoughts on prosecutors dropping charges against Kyle Chrisley? Do you think the Chrisley family is above the law? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Chrisleys finally get good news as criminal charges dropped. The sun shone brightly over Nashville, its golden rays cascading through the tall windows of the Chrisley family home. For once, the light seemed to reflect the mood within the walls, a stark contrast to the shadows that had loomed for far too long. Todd Chrisley sat in the kitchen, nursing a cup of coffee, his gaze distant. It had been a turbulent few years, filled with court dates, legal battles, and the constant pressure of public scrutiny. But today, things were different. Julie Chrisley entered the kitchen, her steps light and her expression hopeful. She had just hung up the phone after speaking with their lawyer. "Todd," she said softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We have news." Todd looked up, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. "Good news, I hope?" he asked, though his tone betrayed the weariness that had settled into his bones. Julie smiled, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "The charges have been dropped, Todd. All of them." For a moment, Todd was speechless. He set his coffee cup down, the weight of the past few years suddenly lifting off his shoulders. "Are you serious?" he whispered, almost afraid to believe it. Julie nodded, her smile widening. "Yes, it's true. Our lawyer just confirmed it. The investigation is over, and we're free." A wave of relief washed over Todd, and he pulled Julie into a tight embrace. "I can't believe it," he murmured into her hair. "We've been fighting for so long." Julie held him close, the reality of their victory sinking in. "I know, but we made it. We never gave up, and now we can finally start to rebuild our lives." As the news spread through the house, the Chrisley children gathered in the living room, their faces a mixture of disbelief and joy. Savannah, Chase, and Grayson looked at their parents, their eyes wide with amazement. Todd smiled, ruffling Grayson's hair. "Yes, it does, buddy. We can finally put all of this behind us and move forward." Savannah hugged her parents, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so proud of you both," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "You never gave up, even when things seemed impossible." Julie kissed the top of Savannah's head, her own tears falling freely. "We had to keep fighting for all of you," she said softly. "We couldn't let this define us." As the family celebrated their newfound freedom, the phone rang again. Todd answered, his expression becoming serious as he listened to the voice on the other end. "Thank you," he said finally, before hanging up. Julie looked at him, her brow furrowing with concern. "Who was that?" Todd took a deep breath, his eyes meeting hers. "It was our lawyer again. He said the media will be all over this. They're going to want interviews and statements." Julie sighed, the weight of their public image settling back onto her shoulders. "I suppose we can't avoid that," she said. "But we need to be careful. This is our chance to set the record straight." Todd nodded, his resolve firm. "We'll handle it together, just like we always have. We'll tell our story on our terms." Over the next few days, the Chrisleys prepared for the inevitable media storm. They agreed to a few select interviews, determined to share their journey and the truth behind the legal battles they had faced. As they sat down with a well-known journalist, the cameras rolling and the lights bright, Todd and Julie felt a sense of purpose. The journalist began with a question that had been on everyone's minds. "Todd, Julie, how does it feel to finally have the charges dropped and be free from this ordeal?" Todd took a moment to gather his thoughts, his voice steady as he replied. "It's a relief, to say the least. We've been through a lot, and there were times when we didn't know if we ever see the light at the end of the tunnel. But we always believed in our innocence, and we fought to prove it." Julie nodded, her expression determined. "This experience has been incredibly challenging, but it's also brought us closer as a family. We've learned the importance of resilience and never giving up, no matter how tough things get." The journalist leaned forward, her curiosity evident. "What message do you want to send to your fans and those who have followed your journey?" Savannah chimed in, her voice filled with conviction. "We want people to know that you can't always believe everything you hear or read. We've been through a lot of ups and downs, but we've always stayed true to ourselves and each other. We're stronger now because of it." As the interview continued, the Chrisleys shared their story with honesty and transparency, their voices united in their determination to move forward. They spoke of their gratitude for their fans' unwavering support and their hope for a brighter future. When the cameras finally stopped rolling, Todd looked at his family, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it," he said quietly. "We told our story, and we did it together." Julie squeezed his hand, her smile radiant. "And now we can start a new chapter. One filled with hope, love, and the knowledge that we can overcome anything as long as we have each other." As the Chrisleys walked out of the studio, the weight of their past finally lifted. They faced the future with renewed strength. They knew that there would still be challenges ahead, but they were ready to face them together as a family. For the first time in a long time, the Chrisleys felt a sense of peace. The storm had passed, and they were ready to embrace the sunshine that lay ahead.